Hey all, welcome to Monday, welcome to my birthday, and welcome to Countdown Day. And man, oh man, I would love nothing more than to spend my birthday here doing one of our weekly countdowns with you guys. One of my best highlights through the week. And today is going to be a fun one. Last week, if you were here, we looked at the top 10 pet peeves that collectors face, as voted on by fans. Well, today, in celebration of my birthday, we're going to look at the top 10 best things about collecting. Again, as voted on by you guys. Yeah, top 10 best things about collecting. That's going to be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot Counts Down. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course subscribe, and while you're at it, light them up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton, and it lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All that in the description down below. Also in the description down below, and if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course, man, hit the join button and become a channel member. And this is the top 10 best things about collecting. Of course, naturally, this is about Transformers collecting, but I think a lot of this can apply to a lot of people's collections. We looked at the pet peeves already. That was very interesting, very informative. So was this. Very interesting, very, very informative. We're going to do our three honorable mentions first. These ones got a substantial amount of votes, but not quite enough to actually rank on the list. They include creativity and your own storytelling. So using the characters that we have, using what you have in your collection to tell your own stories. Sometimes there's a lot of fan films that you see go up, some of them stop motion, some of them not. Some people will simply have pictures where they get to know a character, or they'll incorporate characters into reviews and whatnot, right? So being able to kind of create yourself, build your own story and your own universe based on your particular collection. That's a great honorable mention. Getting characters that we never had before. Very recently we got Ariel and Dion. Some time ago we had Orion Pax and Alphatron along with Vector Sigma. And I've even seen pictures of them with the Combiner Wars Ariel bots. And it's like, man, what a world we live in that we can do all of that. Having a Grand Max and a Black Zarek. Having Unicron in all of his ginormous glory. And so on, and so on, and so on. Things that we never thought we were going to get, characters we never thought we were going to have, and of course, as of this recording, the upcoming DevCon. Man, how long have we been waiting for a DevCon? And I like this one personally, since I am a cartoon is king guy. I gotta say, screen accuracy. Finally getting product that we can collect, that we can feel, that we can see, that we can manipulate, that we can pose, that we can do things with, that looks like it just jumped right off the screen. Buzzworthy Bumblebee Cup, for example, would be a great example of that, right down to having highlights that mimic some of the drawn highlights from, I think, the '86 movie. I mean, pretty impressive. Those are the three honorable mentions. None of them made the list. So what did? Who did? Well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to kick things off with number 10 first. Number 10 is kind of a tie with engineering and updates. Yeah, so I find this one to be very, very interesting. A lot of times as a collector, we analyze, I certainly do, the engineering. What's effective, what's not effective, what worked, what didn't work, what plastic felt like it was the right plastic to use, what didn't feel like the right plastic to use. Were the teeth on this ratchet joint a little too much? Were the teeth on this ratchet joint a little too weak? Should we have had a soft ratchet or we have a strong ratchet, and so on and so forth. These discussions and these debates are the lifeblood of at least Transformers, but I would imagine for a lot of other collectors as well, and collecting communities as well. Why? Because it's a source of conversation, and it's a source of evolution, and it's a source of saying, you know what, maybe we should have taken bits of this and bits of this to give us the best. You never know, right? But it's fun to be able to banter these ideas off one another, to be able to throw these ideas around to see what works best for your collection and works best for you. Engineering and updates to our favorite characters. That tie takes the number 10 slot. Now, number 9 is a little bit of a commentary on ethical behaviors, I suppose you could say, because number 9 is the joy, the productivity of spending money on something that's always there rather than on other bad habits specifically mentioned by some voters where it's better to spend your money on Transformers, something that you have, something you can display, something you can manipulate, rather than, for example, gambling or cigarettes or narcotics or smoking or any of these other vices. A couple of people kind of kicked up a bit of an argument and said, well, you know, isn't collecting a bit of an addiction in and of itself? Are you just trading out one vice for another? But of course the feedback would always be, yeah, but you know what? A Transformer doesn't do you any harm. It's just gonna make you happy. Yeah, I get it. Collecting to avoid getting pulled down the wrong path with some other vices that a lot of people get pulled in that direction. I understand it. I respect it. Number 9, collect to avoid other vices. Easy enough. Now, number 8 kind of feeds on from number 9 because number 9 was a little serious. And number 8 is quite simply happiness, joy. The joy of collecting, the joy of everything to do with the whole process, the joy of, you know, avoiding other vices, the joy of not spending your money on that, the joy of having something to show for spending your money, the joy of finding new product, the joy of finding those characters to, I guess, complete at least aspects of your collection. Like, for example, the trio of the Earthrise Coneheads. A lot of people that actually have that trio are ecstatic. For the record, neither Thrust, Ramjet, or Dirge ever should have been exclusive, let alone all 3 of them being exclusive. Or now, people that are collecting the 86 Dinobots. You feel rewarded every time you get one of the new members, especially if they live up to the hype and tie in with the aesthetic. Or the same sort of thing now with the Legacy Insecticons. We still have Bombshell left to go, and a lot of people are excited about that. So, yeah, I get it. Joy, happiness. Why else do we do it? We do it because we love it. And that love, that joy, takes the number 8 slot. Number 7 kind of feeds on from number 9 and from number 8. And it's, well, you guys. The community. The collector community. People said, look, the collector community is a wonderful and a horrible thing. When we argue, when we get across one another, yeah, it's awful. But at the end of the day, more often than not, we have something that we share. A joy that and a passion that we share with others. Not everybody outside of our community understands why we have this joy and this passion, but you gotta be in it to get it. At the same time, some people that voted for community said, the YouTube community, you get all the reviewers, you get all of the discussion down in those comments. Some people pointed to things like the news boards. Some people pointed to things like the like Facebook groups and whatnot. And some people, I thought that this was very interesting. Some people said, I love this community because it keeps me from hanging out with the wrong crowd and going down the wrong road, which sort of ties into number 9, right? You're not hanging out with the riffraff, unless the collecting community is the riffraff. And usually, when you get to hang out with your friends, with people who get it, with other collectors, you know, if you're somebody who gets to go to some of these conventions, for example, and you hang out with your crew, with your posse, you know what? Even that makes you happy. The community, all of us, you, me, everybody else, takes the number 7 slot. Number 6 is somewhat medicinal. It is a calming effect. Collecting is a calming effect along with escapism. So I guess calming / escapism. The escapism part is life is stressful, man. Everybody got a real life. We all got jobs. We all got worries. We all got stresses. We all got families. We all got friends. We all got everything. But you know what? We also have that escapism of our community. We have the escapism of our little plastic friends. We have our escapism of going into that world, that universe, that fiction, those characters. People, for example, have talked for ages and eons about how Optimus Prime was a father figure to them growing up. It's more powerful to kind of be tied to this community and tied to these characters than I think a lot of people give credit for. That's the escapism half. In terms of the calming half, a lot of people say that, you know what, They like to have a table bot at work, something to kind of fidget with and fiddle with. A lot of the people that pointed to the calming effect said it calms their anxiety. It helps focus their ADHD. It helps give them something to stay linked to and work with and manipulate and stay focused on to deal with their autism and ever so many other issues where people look for something that can be an anchor, that people look for something that can be a source of calming, a source of relief, a source of happiness, a source of calm in an otherwise wild ocean of life. Yeah, a calming effect, escapism, that duality, I think we can all relate to. And it takes the number 6 slot. And here we are at the ever popular, ever coveted halfway mark. And at the halfway mark, I love this one. I can relate to this one. I bet you probably can too. And it's kids. It is collectors, adult collectors, who get to share this passion with their kids and kind of you find a franchise that you can both relate to and both enjoy. I am very lucky. I've often talked about how in our house there's actually 2 collections. Mine and one that belongs to one of the Scraplets, because he also collects, my oldest son. And I'm very thankful that he and I have that link, and we've had it for a good decade, you know? Granted, for him, his focus is more on the games, the movies, and Transformers Prime, as where mine is more on G1, Beast Wars, and Transformers Prime. But the characters, the love, the passion is there on both ends of the spectrum. Sometimes it's fans that have very young kids and they're introducing them to it. Sometimes it's fans that have more grown-up kids and now you can both interact together on it at a more sophisticated level. It's just a way for families to connect. Connecting with your kids, man, yeah, that takes the number 5 slot. Number 4 is something like this. Something that I didn't think I was ever going to get. A holy grail piece, right? A grail piece. That one piece, that one thing that you never thought you were ever going to get. You didn't know if they were going to make it, and when they did make it, you were like, man, I have to be in on it. It is a grail. For me, for example, right now, if I was to point out a grail that I'd like to have, it would be Big Convoy. Why? Because now I have a version of all of the 13. I have a version of Optimus. I can go from Optimus to Rodimus. I can go from Rodimus to Metalhawk, from Metalhawk to who came after Metalhawk? Fortress, from Fortress to Ginrai, or God Ginrai if you will, to this guy, to Diatlas, to Lio Convoy, Optimus Primal. So like all of the Autobot Maximal leaders are covered except for Big Convoy. So for me now, he would be a grail. Getting him would be kind of one of those dreams come true, and maybe I will in time. The grails you have and the grails you hunt. That's the number 4 slot. Number 3 is extremely fitting. I even have a product in my Teespring store that really speaks to it, and it's this. This says to the hunt. And the hunt is the number 3 slot. Simply the old-fashioned act of going out, checking your local stores, whether you're doing it deliberately, whether you know it's a release date for something, whether you're gone to pick up a pre-order, but the physical act of going out and finding something on shelf, the hunt. Yes, it can be frustrating, but man, when it's rewarding, it's real rewarding. Some people said, the only hunt I do is online, but still, you have to make sure to be there at the right time, the right place, the right deal, the right pre-order, trying to secure the right product. Maybe you're looking for something in the aftermarket. Maybe it's on auction and you have that bid in and you're watching it and you're hoping that yours is the one that will win. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, but that thrill of the hunt, that thrill of searching and the reward of finding, yeah, that takes the number 3 slot. Number 2 is a simple one. Nostalgia and memories. Now, this was, again, a little bit of a duality one. Nostalgia, going right back to, hey, it takes me back to being a kid, takes me back to my childhood, takes me back to, I had X version of this character, but I always wanted him to have this improvement, this improvement, this improvement. And you know what? Now he does, and I have him again with all of those improvements that I wanted as a kid. Takes me back to some of my favorite characters, some of my favorite fiction. Then some people said, even now, I've been collecting long enough that I have memories of when I started. Things that people gave me, or that I remember the day I found it, or it has some special significance. So whether we're talking nostalgia for 40 years ago, or nostalgia from memories of 5 years ago, nostalgia. Yeah, I mean, for me, when I got back into it, I can remember that it was that love of G1 and that love of Beast Wars, especially G1 though, that really kind of was the pull for me. But now that I've been at it as long as I have, there are certain items very special to me because I got them for a birthday from my mom, or my wife picked it up, or this was the first one that a viewer sent me, or some of these now are ones that like I've had that I don't feel like I deserve, because it's people being far too kind to me, and I value it for that, and I'll forever be thankful of it for that reason, right? So memories, long ago or somewhat recently, nostalgia, memories, happy times. Those memories, they warm the heart, and they take the number 2 slot. And number 1 you sort of see behind me, or you can look at any of the groups, fan groups like on Facebook and stuff, and you'll see X number of pictures. Or you can watch, like Skullface does a critiques of people's collections. Or you can look at collection tours. What is number 1? Your display, your collection, your display. Simply sharing your collection, sharing your display, whether it's in video, whether it's in pictures, whether it's in the comments. Yeah, showing what you have, the new, the old, sharing it with the community, sharing it with everyone else, taking that pride. And even when you're not sharing it, being able to go home at the end of a hard day, hard shift, hard week. Maybe you're on rotations and you're away for 2 weeks, and then you come home for a week or something like that. But when you go in your home and you sit down and you can look at the wall, or look at the shelf, or look at the floor, or wherever it is you display your collection, and say, man, that just makes me happy. Seeing that just makes me happy, because man, does it look great. Those people that have an abundance of space to be able to display their collection with proper lighting and in dynamic poses, and maybe even with backgrounds and stuff. Maybe even some backgrounds that they've made. There's different ways that people enjoy this fandom and present their collections a million times over. But whatever works for you, then it's the right way to display it, the right way to enjoy your overall collection. And that display, your collection, takes the number 1 slot. And there you go, we've gone from 10 down to 1 once again. Just to kind of reiterate the list very, very briefly, number 10 was engineering and updates. Number 9, that was avoiding other bad habits. Number 8 was happiness and joy. Number 7, the community. Number 6, escapism and or a calming effect. Number 5, sharing this community, this fandom, this hobby with your kids. Number 4, finding that holy grail piece. Number 3, going on the hunt, whether physically in store or even online, but I think the main intent was physically in store. Number 2, nostalgia, memories, being able to look back. And number 1, your display, your collection, your passion. And what else had some votes? The perfect pose, finding that perfect pose. The ability to troop build certain characters like the Sharkticons, for example. That there's something for everyone and a lot of variety, that got a vote. Transforming them, that got a few votes, like actually manipulating them and putting them from one mode to another. Unboxing, taking it out of the packaging, that first time that you feel it in your hand, that tactile sense, right? Cheap stores, places like Ollie's and Ross in the States, or Winners here in Canada. Think Marshall's is in both countries. FOMO, fear of missing out, that had a vote. I don't know why that would be the best thing about collecting, but okay, whatever, it's your vote. What else do we have here? Oh, completing an entire line or an entire team, like in the case of a combiner, for example. The now. The golden age that is now. The excitement of something new. What else do we have here? Debt reduction? I'm not sure how spending money is debt reduction, but that had a vote. A mint and box collection, the reward of seeing all of those clean boxes all lined up, ready to go. Finding that one character that you thought you'd missed, it sold out, it was in stores, and then, oh no, no way, it's on the shelf now? all of these months or even years later. For example, last Friday, I think it was last Friday, we looked at 10 bots because I had found from 2008 Legends G2 Megatron and Legends Jazz on a shelf on the pegs in a grocery store here of all places for $5.99. You know, like I would have never expected that. Progress of investment, I don't really understand that one either, but it had a vote. And oh, one more. We'll do one more, and I like this one. Learning about the history of characters, especially those characters that we didn't really know much about, that were more rare, less known. Yeah, always learning. That definitely had a few votes as well. Let me know what your favorite things about collecting are. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course you can hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and stick around. Have some fun with us here on the channel, and especially don't forget that somehow, man, some way, each and every single solitary day, you right there, you do make a difference in the world. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights, at the stop motion premieres, or the old fashioned way right here inside the videos.